Father Jose and I go back many, many, many years, and he's been my mentor, he's been my guide in very many different ways. And he's a very prolific writer, an articulate speaker, and someone I think who many times has asked me to think about life and the larger questions that work around that. And today, Father will speak to us about how to instill societal collaboration that transcends religious and political affiliations. Father, over to you.
Thank you, Sharon, for the opportunity, for the great conversations by Esther Carr and the other panelists. It was truly wonderful to be here with all of you. And the question that I was asked to respond, how do we instill societal collaboration that transcends religious and political affiliation? Perhaps Sharon gave me this question because I am a Catholic priest. I don't see myself as a leader, and if at all I am a leader, I should be practicing the servant leadership. That's what Jesus asked. But I'm not such a good servant. I consider myself more as a mentor, perhaps animator and a counselor. So how do we address this question of identities? Bit of philosophy. None of our identities are monolithic. Our identities are plural. For example, I'm a man born in a particular family in Kerala, educated, a priest, a teacher. All of us have number of different identities. Identities are a strength and a power. Like any other power, it can be used very well, it can be used badly. Also, there are distinctions between the real identity, which I consider plural and inclusive, and the projected identities and the imagined identities. Now, we were given two of the identities, religious and political affiliation. Perhaps in the media highlights these two as if these are rivalries. But in that way, COVID-19 is a leveler. It doesn't have any preference for Christian or Muslim or Hindu or any of the party politicians it affects. Yet, we make some segregations. Now, I'm surprised or was open to the situation why the migrant workers are migrants in the same country. Why they were, naturally they want to get back to their homes, which is natural. And I'm in charge of a group of brothers who are students and were struggling to send them back. They wanted to go back because it is their vacation, not because they were uncomfortable where they were. But we speak about a great India, but now it's more of our ethnic identities. How did we come so quickly? The problems with Nepal, Pakistan, and China, and often that is highlighted. Our political issues, national identities. Religious identities, when coupled with economics and politics, it's dangerous. Any power, whether it is language, ethnic identities, money power, political power, religious, can be used, abused. And there we need to consider how do we consider these identities as strengths to continue to reach out to people. From a Christian point of view, as I'm a religious priest, as a Catholic, my question in this time of, as an animator, as a guide, as a counselor, as a leader, would be to build up trust, to show my sensitivity and solidarity, particularly with the poor, the suffering. Basically, the question the Lord would be asking, and I would be asking, what did I do to the poor and suffering? In every occasion, there are great leaders to lead, and we need them. But perhaps, as it was mentioned earlier to Gandhi, be the change. And ask yourself the question Gandhi asked, how your decision is going to affect the poor. Gandhi gave that as a talisman. Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man and woman, whom you may have seen, and ask yourself if the step you contemplate is going to be of any use to him or her. We must renew our sensitivity and solidarity. And all of us ask a question in any given situation. Now, there was a mention of this is a crisis, there is a breaking of trust, but this is also a crisis to judge where do we have the trust, where we have placed our trust. I love to tell myself, or listening from Jesus, do not be afraid. Trust in God, trust in me. When I say trust in God, I'm equally reminded of a great saying by St. Augustine. God, who has created you without you, will not save you without you. So the trust in God should be translated into trust to the goodness of people. Any trust, there is a chance we may be cheated. And that's a fact. From our childhood onwards, in our teenage, with our leadership, whether it is religious, political, school, we were all cheated. Yet there is no alternative other than to trust the other. We cannot live with a universal solidarity. We cannot live in an individualistic and atomistic solidarity. My money is enough for me, or I have everything for me. No, we are all interconnected and interdependent. Therefore, what we need in the leadership, I would consider, is an ethical leadership with transparency, with care, with compassion. As individuals, as living beings, we ask the question, what is there for me? That selfish question is there for. That's for our survival. And equally important is the next question, what can I do for you? It is that question of altruistic question, what can I do for you, makes us human. As a Christian, I advise myself and suggest the next question would be, what would Jesus do in this context? As a priest and as a religious leader, we were providing three kinds of care. One, the physical needs. We were cooking food and distributing food. And I have seen that many of my religious friends, one from ISKCON, one of my Muslim friend, and a Sikh, all of them provide. And as far as I know, none of them restrict that only to that particular religious community. They do extend. And then we have a list of counselors, and the number were given. Probably that's one of the guidance or what I did. I listen to the people and say, yeah, we are with you. We concern. At the same time, we connect with other people. When there is a hungry person, we connect with someone who would be able to provide something. Could we do a lot? Not much or not enough, but we did something. Similarly, I believe in the power of prayer. Every day, I renew my trust in God. I renew my trust in the human goodness. Let's continue with that trust, building sensitivity and solidarity to all the people. There are other quotes, but I think I will leave it here because we are already late.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you so much. That was wonderful to hear. And I think everybody is very deep in thought. It was almost like a quiet wave washing over all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.